Hello, my friends, and welcome to Dance How I Want to Real Talk.
I don't really give a, I'ma dance how I want to. I'ma dance how I want to. I don't really give a, I'ma dance how I want to. I'ma dance how I want to. I don't really give a, I'ma dance how I want to. I'ma dance how I want to. I don't really give a, I'ma dance how I want to. I'ma dance how I want to.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This podcast was brought to you by Dance How I Want to Bachelorette Parties. If you're in the Los Angeles area and looking for an awesome bachelorette party, hit us up at dancehowIwantto.com. I am your host, Bryan Leigh Smith, lifelong dancer, positive thinking enthusiast, and ultimate cappuccino connoisseur. Today's podcast is all about self-worth. How to build it, how to grow it, how to maintain it, and how to live your best life by having it. I have a really special guest today. His name is Apollo Sadiq. I know Apollo because I love his dance class so much. I met him because he teaches a class called
Ghetto Stiletto.
Ghetto Stiletto. And I found this class maybe 6 years, seven, 2013,
Yes,
7 years ago. And when I found it, I thought I found God. His class just like empowered me so much. I don't know what it is about seeing like men in heels, but I've just always felt so empowered by you guys because like it's just so inspiring. You don't expect it, and then you're like, oh my God, they are everything I've ever wanted to be. So Apollo, tell us a little bit about Ghetto Stiletto.
All right. So the class that I teach is Ghetto Stiletto, and basically I created the class for the everyday woman. And what that means is it's literally your everyday average woman, the housewife, the lawyer, the doctor, the teacher, working at a library, working at the coffee shop, just any perspective, an artist, anything you can think of, basketball player, doesn't matter what age group, color, size, literally the everyday woman. And I don't like to consider it a dance class as I do a confidence class. And the class is basically to build confidence and doing it while being in a pump and living every day being fierce and confident in a pump as well. So that's what Ghetto Stiletto is about. But the thing that makes it fun is you're not just learning confidence, let's just walk and just be confident. You're learning it through dance. That's the fun part about it. You're getting to do it through dance. So that's what Ghetto Stiletto is. That's what it's about, and that's what it represents.
I just love what you do so much.
Oh, thank you.
How long have you been running Ghetto Stiletto? When did you start it?
Okay, so I officially started Ghetto Stiletto in 2009.
Okay.
And so how it started is very interesting. I was teaching at IDA. Well, actually, I was coming to IDA. I was looking for somewhere to teach, and I had just moved to LA. Maybe been in LA maybe a month, probably a month. So I started, walked by IDA, ran into it. I was like, "Oh, what's this? It's a dance studio." So went up there, saw it was a dance studio, whatever. Asked so I can speak to the manager. Ended up speaking to the manager. And I was like, well, I want to teach a class, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. At that time, she was like, well, we don't really have any openings right now, et cetera. So I was like, okay. So there was this choreographer that lived here named Kamari. So I started taking her class, got cool with her. She worked at IDA also. So after she got to know me, she was like, you know what? Let's go talk to the manager. So went to talk to the manager, and she was like, yo, this is Apollo. He teaches a Hills class. He's really dope. Like, I really think you should have a class here. So I was like, okay. So she was like, all right, well, cool. All right, well, you're vouching for him. Let's just see. Mind you, I didn't really know Kamari that well. We pretty much just met her. So it was just like, I guess, based off an energy thing.
Yes.
So, so she was like, okay, well, what do you want to call it? I wasn't ready for that yet. I was just like, okay, we're just getting through the door, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get. So I'm in the office, and she was like, okay, we'll look at a schedule, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So what's the name of your class? And I was just like, I was like looking around, and I was like, ghetto, and I was like, stiletto. And she was like, oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I was just like, yeah, ghetto stiletto. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those things, like it came literally like on the spot. But as I was trying to think, I was just trying to think of just everything that I wanted to represent at that time. And, you know, I'm originally from Florida and from Tampa, Florida, that is. So I was just thinking about all the different things and just thinking about like the perspective of the word ghetto. And it's always like it's always like a negative thing. But I look at it as like a fabulous thing, like ghetto fabulous. That's what Ghetto Stiletto is for me. That's what it's like, you know, Ghetto Stiletto. So it's like, you know, I can be ghetto, but I'm in a stiletto. Makes sense?
Right?
So then from there, that's pretty much how it just started growing. And I knew what I wanted to do as far as teaching a heels class, but as far as the name was concerned, I didn't really think that far.
Right.
But that was like, it was one of those things that just happened like right real time, spur of the moment. And it resonated with people. That was the thing that I think it stuck the most because it really did resonate with people. And I was just like, okay. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. You know, and I was also worried about just like the name and the branding of it. I was like, well, people are not going to like it. But people don't look at when they hear the name, they don't look at it in a negative way.
Yeah.
So that was like the awesome thing about it. I was just like, oh, people actually, you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. Like, Ghetto Stiletto?
Yeah.
Even guys, you know what I'm saying? Would like it. They were like, Ghetto Stiletto. So that's pretty much how the name of the class got it started. But I knew, so let's go back. Before I moved here, how I started dancing in heels.
Okay,
there.
yes, please. But wait, can I just say the first time I saw Ghetto Stiletto, like the name, I was at my job at the mall.
Wait, what? Okay, I don't think I've heard this story.
I was like, I was coming out of a really bad eating disorder. And I was working at a fancy fitness clothing store near Beverly Hills. Okay. And I'm in the mall and I'm just like dying for a change in life. I was like coming out of this eating disorder, but not like I wasn't completely out of it. I needed something to set me free. And I was going to church at that time. Like I go back and forth and like we'll find different spiritual practices. So at that time it was Jesus Church that worked for me. And then I found Ghetto Stiletto, and I was like, I found church. But back to that store. So I'm at that store working, and they let us search on Google. So I was Googling like heels dance classes in LA. And at that time, there really was not a lot of dance classes.
There was only, I think, at that time, there was mainly 3. It was like me, Andy J, and Charlene. I think that was it.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot.
And maybe there might have been maybe one more. But for the most part, that was it, though. It was only like 3 of us.
Oh, my God.
And there were no guys.
No, that was why I wanted to go to yours so bad. And then the name. Oh. So I'm at that store, and I see the name, and I was like, Ghetto Stiletto. I'm definitely going to that. And it was everything I ever wanted it to be and more.
And she was everything I wanted ever to see and more when she came to class, for sure. You were a surprise.
Yeah, I danced how I wanted to.
She sure did. And I wanted more, for sure. I was like, who the hell are you and where are you from?
I'm from Savannah, Georgia. And
I knew right then she was one of my girls. Right? Immediately, I want you.
Yes. When did you first start dancing in heels?
Okay, so this is even more funny story. So I first started, it's funny I have the video of this too, actually, when I first started dancing in heels. My first ever time dancing in heels.
Okay.
So my best friend, he's a dancer, was a dancer. And so we were, going to take class or whatever at the studio back home. And there was one heels class that they would have, like, this one girl, she would teach every now and then. So he bet me, he was like, well, I bet you won't come take this heels class. And I was like, girl, whatever.
How old were you?
Ooh, this was 2006, so maybe I was like 21, maybe.
Okay, so young.
I was young, yeah.
Yes, baby.
Mm-hmm. So, mind you, at this time, never put on a heel, never worn a heel, never even owned a pair of heels. So he was like, well, girl, I bet you $50. So I was like, okay. He was like, well, show up, pull up. So, went and bought heels. He went and bought heels. Because he would play around and do, like, different stuff or whatever like that, just, like, every now and then. But I never would do that.
Right.
So, got to class, put the heels on. I was just like, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have felt like this. It was something. It was like a superhero putting on a costume. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, that's how I felt. I had like this feeling. I was just like, oh, what is this lift in my upper booty area? Like, you know? And I was like super tall. And I just felt so like, ooh. I was like, is this how women feel? So then I started taking a class. And I started realizing that it was because I love dancing, but the thing that was different from me, I was feeling a different strength that I never felt before, energy-wise.
Yes.
It was a completely different energy, a completely different strength. I was pulling from somewhere I never really pulled from before. And during the time, also too, it was one of those things to where I gave into the feeling. That's what I think was the most important thing in that very moment, because I think that's when guys first put on heels. They have to give in to that because it makes you feel pussy. You know what I'm saying? It does. It makes you feel pussy. So I just fully gave into that and just allowed my back to arc. And you know what I'm saying? Just all those things. I just allowed my body to just do what it does naturally in a pump.
Yeah.
And I danced and I killed the routine, murdered the routine, slayed the choreo. Everyone was gagging, couldn't even believe it. Dreamer. Her name was Dreamer.
In Tampa?
Yes, Dreamer Davison. Yes.
Where's Dreamer now?
She's still teaching. Hey, Dreamer.
We need to
yes.
talk to her.
I know. Yes, Dreamer's still teaching. Dreamer's still teaching. So, so that's pretty much how it started. So then from there, I would just start, pop up in heels. I'll play around in heels. I'll definitely always come in the heels class for sure. Yes. I will go to heels class. But I didn't really start really doing it until I started Ghetto Stiletto. That's when it really that's when I really as soon as I got here, like I said, I didn't even have a pair of heels. My first pair of heels when I got to LA was the day after my first day of class. I had to go to Payless.
Yes.
Yep. So, because it was one of those things, like, I knew it's what I wanted to. Let me not say that. I knew I wanted to do something. I should say that. I wasn't sure what it was that I wanted to do exactly. I knew I wanted to teach, and I knew I wanted to choreograph. I did know that coming out here. But
and the first day you were here, your subconscious was like, you got to get these heels.
I just kept, because even so, when I first got here, of course I was going to Debbie Reynolds. They didn't even have a heels class when I did that.
I remember
that heels class started after I got here, actually. And I remember I came, I was like, "There's no heels class," and they were like, "No," and I was like, thinking about. Oh, so that's the other thing too. So when I got here, I was discouraged a lot. People were like, "You're a boy. You want to dance in heels. You're going to ruin your career. If you're a man, you got to dance like a man." Like all of that extra shit. Yeah. So it did affect me for like a little while. I can't say that. It did affect me. It kind of made me feel like, I was like, what the... When I say a little while, like literally 2 weeks. That's all it took for me to get over it. And I was like 2 weeks and I was like down. And I was like, so I had that moment. I was like, well, let me just go to class and just go to Millennium and do the regular route. I'm not going to teach. I'm going to just, what they say to do is to earn your rank or whatever. Just go through the process.
Oh, yeah.
Girl, 2 weeks, I was like, fuck this. Because I was bored. No, I was bored. That was the thing. I was like, I shouldn't be in LA and should be bored.
No.
And I was like, I came out here. Yes, I will forever be a student, but I came out here as a teacher and a choreographer. Y'all might not know who I am, but I know who I am. Right. Like, I've been teaching choreographing since I was like 14. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I came out here like, y'all just don't know me. Wow. Y'all don't know who I am. That was it. So once I started, because people was like, don't dance in heels. No one wants to see that as a boy. So all the time, that was a thing. But I started realizing, because I did Ghetto Stiletto, that would push me beyond like everybody else. Because the people who are telling me this, they're the ones following the regular thing that you're supposed to do. Right. But I'm hearing the people who are booking those people being like, who are you? So that was the mindset change for me, because I'm like, well, the people who are writing the checks, they're the ones like, who is him? Yeah. Who is that person? Yeah. I need to know who he is, So it really just kind of changed my mind, because I was like, well, I don't want to go that route. I don't have to go that route. Like, this is what I came out here to do. I didn't come out here to go through the process I already went through back home. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, And honestly, back home, I didn't even go through that process either. Like, when I started dancing, the first thing I did was start choreographing. You know, when you're with your friends and you start a little team, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like,
That's
you know,
how you start.
that's how you start. Like, you know, it's like, and it's fun. You at the park, you competing at parties and whatever. So that's how it was. But I knew then too that I wanted to do it professionally.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to do it professionally. And I guess the only person I can say that was my inspiration as far as a man being in heels was Jonte.
Jonte.
You know Jonte?
No. Who's Jonte?
The most
School me.
sickest, ridiculous male to ever grace themselves
Oh
on
my
stage.
God.
He choreographed Freakum Dress for Beyonce. Did you remember the guys that were in Freakum Dress? They had the bald head, the dark skin guy? That's Jonte.
Oh my
no,
God.
ridiculous. I'm talking about.
That was your mentor?
No, he wasn't my mentor. He was my inspiration though. Because like Jonte could literally do everything in a pump, to tumbling to everything, like literally everything. In choreo, ridiculously sickening, clean, full out. Like he is like the ultimate.
God.
Like, yes, GOAT in a pump for sure. Yeah, so seeing him, it definitely gave me, like, I didn't strive to be him, but it gave me something to visualize and see on an industry basis of a man dancing in heels.
Yeah.
So, you know, because that, like, let's say he's more fierce and cunt and stuff like that. I'm definitely a lot more ratchet and ghetto. You know what I'm saying? But just the energy and the vibe and then the fearlessness.
Yeah.
That was the thing that I loved about him. It was like unapologetic. He didn't give a fuck what y'all thought about him. He didn't give a fuck about the industry. That's why I feel like that's why he left and went to Japan. He was like, fuck y'all hoes.
Yeah.
I'm going to Japan where they appreciate me and everything that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then for a male, it's really hard, like I say, have, I guess, that under your, because mind you, he can do anything. Hip hop, as you can see, because the way he's doing in heels, can slay it. But being a male in the industry and trying to have a dominating role, especially as a dancer, it's like it's always a specialty. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, just throw a little specialty in there or whatever. But they want you, especially then when I came in, they want you to dance like a man. That's what we want. That's what we want to see.
It's commercial.
It's commercial, which I get it, but that was the thing that it would be a different story if I walked around, you know, every day in Ghetto Stiletto, but I don't.
Right.
You know, so and it's like, and then my beginning is hip hop, it's not heels. You know, so it's the fact that I can do it. I'm able to do both. Yeah. But I love teaching. Like, I love teaching in heels. Yeah. I love teaching more than just like being in them. That comes a part of teaching, but I love teaching. That's what it is. I love teaching women how to dance in heels. Like that energy that I felt. Good at it. Yeah, no, that energy that I felt when I put the heels on when I took that class. Yeah, that was like, I was like, fuck, everybody needs to feel that. Like, it was such it was a confidence, because I was already confident as a dancer, but that just gave me like this whole other type of boost of energy that I never felt before, the feminine energy.
Oh my God. The day after I took your class, I was so inspired and got that same energy. Let me show you the video that I did the day after. This is kind of embarrassing.
Wait, what?
I was so inspired by your class.
You have an old video, Bryan?
It's still on YouTube.
Oh, shoot. The YouTube
my God.
Chronicles when you go back.
Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. This isn't part of my show, but it is now.
No, this is cool. It's like, I love to hear, because I don't really know, so I love to hear when like all you ladies tell me like your experiences, and because, you know, I don't know where you were in life when you came to me or when I met you, you know, so it's inspiring for me, because when I see you guys, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so dope, and you're like, am I? And I'm like, yeah. So, you know, what we know when we first met, we were going through different things. Well, I was seeing you for the dope person that you were, and I was in amazement. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, you don't know how dope you are, like. And then y'all were coming in there, I guess, feeling like some of the girls was like, I was really going through it, like I was going through a rough time, or I was like, I was depressed, or something like that. And I'm thinking, like, you know, for me, teaching was my healing. That's how I healed. That's how I was able to get through life. And you know what I'm saying? When I came to class to teach you guys, that was like I was getting energy from y'all. just like all this fierceness and all these girls and these women and they're breaking out. Like, you know, when I would see y'all get loose and break out, oh my gosh, I would go.
You're such a nurturing teacher too. Okay, so wait, let's tell them about how you do the the freestyles. So
okay.
In every Apollo's class, like you have to do this freestyle bit, and it's so cool. And Apollo is so nurturing. Like he like cheers you on and makes you really feel like you can really do something cool. So tell us about that.
Yes, so they're called my sexy walks across the floor. And this is a moment I like to really break down the class. I like to break down the nervousness. I like to turn the lights down because people feel a little bit more comfortable. Then I feel like everybody is they're either most comfortable in their sexuality when it comes to like sexuality, or they're least comfortable. So I feel like there's really no middle ground with that. It's like either you're ready for that moment or you're not. I've never had a person that's just been in the middle. I feel like at that moment where they're just like, okay, it's like, oh shit, I don't want to go. Or it's like, bitch, I'm ready. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that moment at that time, that's more so for me to, like, I guess, bond with you guys and to relax you guys. To kind of just give y'all like an open space to not have to think or not have to worry, like to just feel and get lost. And usually that's what happens during that moment. Like, the girls get lost. Like, the girls take their clothes off. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen all types of crazy stuff in class. Like,
people are busting splits. People are doing, like, model walks and then landing on the floor and, like, stripper moves.
It's just like, you know, and it's funny because you see different perspectives. That's what I say, it's like everyday woman. You'll come in there and you'll have somebody come in class and they just look like they're like super bomb and ready. And then when it gets to that moment, they're in the corner like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And you're looking at them like, bitch, you look bad as hell.
And
like,
those are the ones that like...
Yeah, they don't know what to do. And then you get the other girl in class, you barely knew she was there. And then next thing you know, it's like her mode, and she's like ponytail out, and she's like glasses off, and then she's just busting it wide, and you're like, okay, like, you know, I didn't expect that from you, like, you know. So that's the part that I love about that too, because you really get to see people, and you see people grow during the moment. They'll start off nervous and kind of whatever, and then the class is so supportive. And all the ladies or the gentlemen, whoever's in class, everybody, the energy, it just makes you feel at home. Like I always say, it's like an adult sandbox. That's what I like to say. It's an adult sandbox. Come in here, everybody just play, try out anything you ever wanted to try, see, do you want to be a stripper, dream about it, whatever. This is the moment, this is the time. And it's a safe space.
It is so safe. I've never felt so supported than like in a Ghetto Stiletto circle. It's amazing.
And I love personally to see, because like when I see people, I can see people and I can see their energy. So I'm even more excited to see that energy being brought to light, you know. And then it's like I get to see you guys feel it. And then it's like, oh, is that my power? And it's like, yes, that's your power. Like, you know, so
it's so fun.
Yeah.
Especially when the whole circle's like, yeah. You're like, oh my God.
And so, yeah.
I found church. Okay, so wait. I literally quit going to church after I found his class. No, like, it was just a season. I go, like, I find my spiritual seasons, but I was like, the day I found your class, I was like, this is church. I'm good.
Church is spiritual healing. So, you know, and that's the thing. It's good energy and vibe. It's positive energy. It's about being confident. It's about, you know, you can do it. And it's just, whatever it is, I always say, like, everybody has something that's special, that's specifically their thing. And sometimes
you call it their essence.
Yes, your essence. Like, everybody has something about them. So it's about taking that thing where everybody's looking for something in common to pretty much be like, put them on a standard. Like, well, she looks like this or has this, so once I have that, then I'll be on the same standard.
Right.
No, you're not, because that's her standard. That's the lane that was specifically built for her to ride in.
Right.
Or him or whoever.
Right.
You know, so now you're getting in their lane and your car's not equipped to ride on the road that their lane was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're sitting here on a dirt road and they got like a 4-wheel drive something, and here you go with your little Mazda trying to get on their road thinking you finna just drive down the street. No, you're not. They're built for off-roading and you're not.
Right.
So it's about taking those things that are most special and unique about yourself and building on those and then letting that sprout out, because those things about yourself no one can take away from. Like that's specifically you. And that's something I love about my class too, is like all the girls like you and all the other girls that have came. I could never say this person reminds me of that person.
Oh, cool.
I can never say that because all of you have you carry your own. Honestly, I feel like every lady that's been in my class, they carry it. And if they didn't carry their own energy when they left, they did.
They figured it out.
They figured it out. It's like, oh, this is me. I didn't even know I could do this or feel this way. And it's like, girl, when I first saw you, that's what I saw.
It like unlocks something in you.
Yes, unleash your lioness inside, which I like to say in class too. It's like a page that lioness inside.
He knows how to do it.
I'ma dance how I want to.
Cappuccino break. This podcast is brought to you by Dance How I Want To Bachelorette Parties.
I'ma dance how I want to.
So, like I said, when I first started taking Ghetto Stiletto, I was recovering from an eating disorder. I was really low and still like digging myself out. I was like getting out there, but like just finding Ghetto Stiletto was just took me to the next level of like healing. And it really, like you said, it's definitely a confidence class. So it helped me build my confidence, because I was at a place where in my life where like I couldn't even talk. Like I remember feeling like I had knots in my throat because my confidence had been so knocked down from the thoughts I was thinking about making myself throw up and like being sick and not letting myself eat. Like all those thoughts like took my voice away.
Wow.
So that was how I felt when I got to this class, and then coming to this class just unlocked my body, which has helped me unlock my voice. But I was so sick. So I really think like dancing and finding a teacher that really like believes in you, someone that like is cheering for you, like let's go be Ryan. Like every class I've ever been in with Apollo, he knows my name first of all. He knows my name.
I know her name.
And he knows my nickname. Yeah. And he has yelled for me and screamed and cheered for me throughout that entire class. So first of all, that means that you have a great teacher on your hands. And like if you can find someone that can create that space for you, that can really cheer for you and be your coach and be your teacher, like that is a huge like path of like healing through dance, I believe. It really helped me to like get to that next level of healing, was just having someone that believed in me. And who knew it was gonna involve shaking my ass and learning like some really hot dance moves.
Hey.
But, if it worked for me, it can work for you.
It's about healing.
Yes.
How you heal is up for in the air, you know? Yes. So if you have to throw a little hip, a little thigh to heal, then throw it.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit more about how like Ghetto Stiletto, or like maybe even some stories that you've seen where Ghetto Stiletto has given someone more self-worth?
Ooh, I have a perfect story.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And you actually might remember her coming to class. Well, maybe not. Oh, because I think right when the time you started coming, she started slowing. So I had a lady that started coming to my class. She had to be like 65. Yeah.
That's going to be me.
She was like 65. And the first time she came to class, I was just like, and she was like, are these heels? She had like these little kind of like church heels. And then I was like, well, you're older. And I was thinking, well, that's fine, whatever like that. So, over time, she'll do little things here and there, but she was really nervous. But she was older, so it was interesting to see her in class, because she would just be in there like this, head down, and she was like,
aww.
Kind of like, and I'd be like, okay, whatever. But she was very committed. So after a while, because the thing is, every week she came. She would come every single week, and every week she was getting better and better. So then one week, I remember she came in and she had like a different pair of heels that were a little bit higher, maybe like a 4.5 inch. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, you got some new heels? She was like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. And I was like, oh, excuse me. And she was just like, yeah. And she just smiled. So she was in class, and then I started noticing she was being a little bit more open in class. Like she's like throwing her hair, and then next thing I know, maybe like a couple months later, she came in class. She had a new hairstyle. And I was like, she had like a bob, and I was like, oh, and she was just like, yeah, he loves it, and I was just like, okay,
unlocked.
No, seriously. So, and it was like one of those things, and she was just like, yeah, you know, I told him about that. I come and take this class, and she was like, and he just loves it. I showed him like some of the moves and the routines and stuff, and just, oh my gosh, he's just so in love with it.
Yes.
And because I think she was divorced or something like that, so she had been through like that whole thing. So it's kind of like her trying to just get back out there, and she wanted to do something fun and find something that could just put her in a better mood after dealing with the divorce.
Yes.
So I understood, but the interesting thing for me is she set her own goals. I don't have goals necessarily set for you guys. Y'all come in there, which I've come to learn now. Y'all really do be having your own goals.
Yes.
Like I never knew that. Like when y'all come, I just think, oh, they just come to class, but it's like, no, y'all really be on a mission. She was on a mission. She was on a mission to get herself back. She was like, well, I want to get back limber and moving and get my body, because I guess in her marriage, she wasn't really able to be as active as she wanted to be, focusing on him and all this other stuff. And I guess she just felt like she kind of let herself go.
Yeah.
So I would say maybe after some months or whatever, her taking, I remember when she came to class one more time. And that was the last I ever saw her. And it was like she came in and she had on like vintage stilettos this class.
Amazing.
And she was like, yeah, our anniversary's tonight. And I was like, is it? And she was like, yes, I had to come test these heels out. And I was like, oh, okay. I can't remember her. I have videos of her too, actually, in class. Yes. And she was just like, yeah, I just wanted to test these heels out for tonight. And I was like, ooh, look at you, girl. Go ahead.
That's so good.
And she came in class and she worked it out, and I ain't never seen her again. So I guess them heels worked for her.
Yes.
But it was interesting just seeing, like I said, she came in there with a goal. And even though, because of her age, I didn't expect her to go beyond the little church heel that she started in with.
Right.
But like I said, she had her own goals. And, after every few months, she would come in with a higher heel. Yeah, no. So when just seeing that right there, and to me, that's out of a lot of the stories, that one I guess hit the most, because it was literally like that whole, like, I guess Stella getting her groove back type of situation. It was just a very interesting thing for me to see, because I'm like I said, I'm thinking she's coming for fitness. That was my perspective, because she's older, she wants to keep limber. No, she's trying to keep her man happy, her new man.
She's got a whole
she had a whole new gigolo at home. And she's trying to make sure she's trying to make sure this one sticks.
But I think too, like with you not having an agenda for the people, that really gives each individual person like their own individual path. And so there's a power and a real like magic in healing yourself and creating your own goals and your own like, I'm going to use this class to like help me achieve not having an eating disorder, or this class to have the man, or this class to be more sexy. I mean, and a lot of it, I feel like a lot of it is definitely just the feeling more sexy, because I feel women, as a just overall perspective of women, everything that women do, it's adored when it fits the perspective of a man, but when it's for the perspective of the woman, then it's shunned upon. Yeah, it's like a woman can only be sexy when it's for the man, and when the man wants it or wants to see that. But when it's on her own terms, then that's when the power is stripped away from her, and then it becomes, oh, she's nasty, or she's a slut, or she's a hoe, or whatever like that. That's so real.
And it's like, no, why do I have to be all of that? Because I want to express my natural sexy self, and you're not able to handle it. Right. So, and you want to sexualize, this is me just moving in my true self. You want to sexualize it and make it about this and turn me into that. And
even like porn, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Porn is like that. It's all about like the males being satisfied. There's like, I wish that someone would create one for women where the women are all pleasure. Like there are a few, but they're hard to find. I cannot find them. Yeah. Hello, RedTube.
Bro. Some new material I could be busting out for 2021 for sure. Please. Yeah, but the narrative when it comes to the feminine energy and perspective, it's narrated by the male's perspective, and it's always been that way.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the other thing that I found empowering about my class is because I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm just like, look, this is your body, and the thing is, it's not like it doesn't come off to be sexual or raunchy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what it's up. That's of course, you know, when we do our things, whatever, but you never hear me being like, I'll be like busted wide open, but that's not the perspective that I'm trying to necessarily portray. It's about movement. It's about real movement. And sex is a part of life.
Yes.
And so is sexuality. And it's about women taking hold of their sexuality and saying, I can do what the fuck I want to do with my own sexuality.
Yes.
You cannot speak for me or my body. If I want to bust it wide open tonight, and then I want to go to work tomorrow in a suit up to here, I can do that.
Yes.
Like, because it's me, and I'm able to do it. And that's the thing too, like about creating a safe space where everyone feels free to do that. And that's why I love seeing on my classes. I love seeing the breakthroughs, even just with the walks. When some women come in there and they can't walk. Yeah. And I just do that little, like, quick fixer thing. I'm like, here, do this with your back.
It's time for a Ghetto Stiletto Girl Break.
The thing about confidence, too, confidence is also, it definitely is a mindset. And if you're having a mindset to where you're so overanalyzing everything that you do within your own self, then that kind of drowns out your confidence. A lot of confident people, whether it's good confidence or bad confidence, they're secure with themselves and they just don't really care. And like I said, there's a bad confidence where it's just like you just really don't care. Or there's like the good confidence where it's like I'm content in who I am and the way that I move and my output. I'm aware of what I'm outputting. I don't need you to tell me that you look like this. I know what the fuck I look like.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
I know what I look like. Clearly, this was a decision for me. I made this decision. So, and don't try to turn what I'm doing for myself into something to fit your narrative.
Yes. Yeah, I've been in trouble my whole life for dressing how I wanted to. I've always
that
been
needs to be
sent
your next
home.
thing. Dress how you want to.
Dress how you want to. I've always got sent home, and I mean, I get it. Like, there's a whole society that believes that like it's all got to be covered up and all this stuff. Okay, and there's good reason because there are some weird freaks out there, but like. Still, yes. Nobody should be able to tell you how to dress.
Yeah, it becomes almost an oppression in a sense.
It does.
And like I say, it's just based over time because the women barely have rights anyway. So how dare you have the right to wear what you want to wear? You know what I'm saying? So it's like that old age mindset. Yes. But also too, but it's also. And it sucks because the rules were implemented not because of the woman, because of men. Yeah. Because men know that other men are going to take advantage. They're going to look. They're going to get jealous. So we don't, once again, control. We don't want you dressing that way because why? Not because of you and how it makes you feel. Fuck how you feel. We don't want them feeling no type of way about you. Right. We don't want them looking at you or thinking this about you. Yeah. Then it's like, well, bitch, if they do, all motherfucking well, you should be confident enough to not give a fuck. Yes.
Amen. So right? There's nothing worse than being made feel guilty about what you've, like you said, chosen to wear and dress. Like, I should not feel guilty for my fashion sense, which I have many times felt guilty for. But when I've gone to Ghetto Stiletto, not ever once. I was like trying to always push it. Oh,
especially on our shows and stuff like that. They're like, "Is this okay?" I'm like, "Girl, no, take that off." We're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, too much clothes."
Sometimes I do feel kind of like nervous. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I think I showed too much," and I'm like. 2 days later, I watched the video. I'm like, nah, that was really hot.
And then, like I say, and it's all about how you do it. It's all about how it's done, what the perspective is, what's trying to be portrayed. Because anything creative, if you're an artist artistically, you should be able to go to a museum and see nude painted people and not get all fucking hard and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or get whatever. Like, because it's an artistic perspective and people don't know how to switch off their artistic minds. Yeah. I mean, not their artistic, they don't know how to switch on their artistic minds and switch off the other mindset, like the sexual mindset or whatever. Stiletto is. Ghetto Stiletto is meant to be a place for literally for all those societal ideas and perspectives and I don't know, rules and do's and don'ts.
Right.
That doesn't exist when you come to the Ghetto Stiletto world at all.
So much
It's
better.
it's not about any of that stuff. Whatever that is that's out there, that's like leave that shit at the door. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, this is your time to come in here and release, get all that negative energy out and just literally be if you're not able to be, like I said, mothers, all types of people I've had. I get it. Everybody can't. Oh, those are the best ones. Pastors' wives.
Yes.
Love those ones. They're the ones they can never be filmed, but they're the ones busting it wide open in class. But like, please don't film me though. Please don't film me. I won't, girl. I'm not gonna put you out. But yeah, even them being able to be free in that way because of their husband, and the husband's a pastor, and they don't want them, but they're stifling everything about them because they're not able to express themselves in that way. They're not able to express themselves sexually. And it's not about, like I say, it's not about being nasty. It's a part of nature.
Right.
It's a natural feeling, you know what I'm saying? It's natural just sometimes just to want to be naked. And then when you feel good and sexy and you feel confident about your body, you feel confident about what you're doing, you carry that energy with you. And you take it to the next thing that you have to do, or the next day, or the next whatever, you know. And a lot of people too, they end up carrying that energy home, and then it fucks with whoever's at home because they're like, where is all this coming from? And it's like, I just get out of class and I feel great, and you ain't taking it from me. Period.
Yes.
So this is me. This is what I want to do. This is how I feel. So either deal with it or not.
Love it.
I think that's so, to me, having those moments and like I say, to me, it is about healing and being able to release. And at the end of the day, if you're at least able to come to class once a week and do that, and then you have to deal with hell the rest of the week, at least I'm providing at least one night of just, just pure, just relaxation and just freedom, you know?
Yes.
And that's what it's about.
You really get to express your sexuality too in that class. Like, it's just, you let it all out.
I'ma dance how I want to.
Cappuccino break. This podcast is brought to you by Dance How I Want To Bachelorette Parties.
I'ma dance how I want to.
M&Ms.
Have you ever done that as, what do they call it, ASMR thing?
Yeah.
You know where people like eat on the microphone? Like, hey, this is so good.
Oh, don't they have something like...
Oh my God. I love dancing.
Don't they have that? Because wasn't Cardi B doing something like that?
Probably.
She was like something, she was talking in the mic and she was like, oh, girl.
Yes, that is it.
She was like, and it's like people, I've seen it on YouTube and stuff, and people are like talking like really, really low.
Yes.
Or like a certain type of voice, but it's supposed to be like really calming or whatever.
Yes, it's so cool. Because there's like a compressor on the microphone.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Tomorrow I went to Walmart and I bought some pants for $5.99, but they didn't fit correctly, so I had to go back to the store.
Oh my God. Oh, that's awful. You had to go back.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just order online?
I wanted to feel it in person.
I feel you.
I don't think I could do it. I would bust out laughing between takes. But people really want this.
There's a girl that does bread facing. And so she just gets these like big, beautiful loaves of bread and cuts them up and then lays her face in it and then people just watch it.
Here's one of my favorite Ghetto Stiletto performances.
this topic, many definitions consider self-worth to be the same thing as self-esteem. But I don't really agree with that. I think it's more like in deserving, knowing that you deserve what you want, knowing that you deserve to have a great relationship, to have wealth, to have a fit body, a beautiful house, like anything, a career, and your passion, anything you desire, knowing that you're good enough and like just going to get it and having no fear. That to me is like self-worth.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
So like I did read a few articles that said that self-worth is caused by anxiety and depression, but I really think it's the opposite. I think like anxiety and depression are caused by having low self-worth, not thinking that you're good enough. And you know, like I also think we've like learned these behaviors like from our parents, and they learned it from their parents.
Yeah.
And we all learned it from society. And then it's not just your family, but it's like the other people in your life. Like we learn these types of behaviors. So if you're around someone who has low self-worth, it could very much like just rub off on you, you know?
Yep.
But I mean, when you hear self-worth, like and everything we just talked about, like what do you think?
I think it's definitely like what you said, like self-worth. Those other things, I feel like they're a part of it. They're connected, yes. But as far as like what causes it and what's the beginning factor, and if you're missing certain things, let's say like you can still have some type of self-esteem and still be depressed.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you can. So it's like, you know, you can still, I know a lot of people that they, you know, they're confident, but then it's like, or you can have self-esteem. Yes, you feel good about yourself, but when it comes to opportunities and things you should go get, you don't feel worthy enough for that.
Yes.
It's like, I feel great about myself. I know I'm great, but that doesn't necessarily turn into I'm great, which means that I'm deserving. Two different things. Just because you're great doesn't mean that you feel like you're deserving.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So it's kind of like you have to. It's one. It could be on all levels of things. It could be one or the other. It could be both at the same time, or it could just be one. But you can't just put one in a box and just say it goes into one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say everything has a start somewhere. Right. So if you have those, you know, like say you have like low self-worth or low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, if you have those things, you can still be, let's say, have like self-worth problems and stuff like that, but you still don't have to necessarily be depressed, because even though you're not going and getting all those things that you want to do or feel like you should do, you still could have a good life. You know, so you don't necessarily, it's like, well, I know I deserve this, but my life isn't bad. Yeah. You know, it's just like that. And it's like, but you still have a self-worth problem. You still don't feel like you're worthy of more.
Right. And that, I feel like that's how we should be. We should always know that like we're climbing this ladder.
Yeah. And if you have, and then that's how that can see now that, because after time that can turn into depression and anxiety because you're starting to realize I am this person and I am, you know, how I feel. I have to feel how with the self-esteem, but why don't I feel worthy? Yeah. You know? Yeah. Why don't I feel like I should, you know, go out there and get these things, or why am I not doing these things?
Or why do I not feel good enough to talk to these people because they're where I want to be? Like. Yeah,
exactly. So over time, it can start turning into depression and anxiety. Now, every time you get into a situation to where it's an opportunity you know you should take, or I've been in positions like that where I've had opportunities where it's like, why didn't you give that director your number? Or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what were you not feeling like you were worthy enough to put yourself in that position? You know, so, and over time, not having that self-worth or that self-esteem in that area or whatever, over time, and you do it over and over and over again, or you see an opportunity that you should have in that moment, you know, grabbed a hold to, and then 5 years later, you're like, I could have been doing that. Yeah, and then that's where the depression kicks in. And then that's when the anxiety kicks in too. Yeah. After that, it's like, and then every time an opportunity comes, you're thinking about that one time when you didn't take the opportunity. So then the anxiety kicks in. So like you said, like it's like the way that it happens, having those issues, they cause.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was so beautifully laid out.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It was.
Yeah, but that's the, you know, that's true. It's true to life because, like I say, I've dealt with those issues. I don't necessarily have self-confidence issues. I'm confident in who I am in myself, but when it comes to things that I feel I'm deserving of, I've struggled with that. I have, you know, and it's like, well, why?
Right.
You should feel like you should be able to have anything you want.
Yes.
But
Have, be, and do anything you
yeah,
want.
but sometimes you just don't feel that way.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
sometimes it's like, well, you know, well, I mean, I know my life could be better, and I know it should be better, but it's not all that bad. It could be worse,
Yeah.
and then you start having that it could be worse mentality, and that can also fuck with you too. Is always, well, it could be worse, so then it could never be better, huh?
Right. Because then whatever you get what you focus on. So like if you focus on the worst or like what it could be
Yeah,
worse,
or it could be worse instead of what it could be better.
right? Like
you know?
I'm looking up the hill, like
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
At the top, and then I'll like go up there and like look in it, and I might, if one's for sale or something, I might go ahead and look at it, and then I'll be like, this is not even what I want, this isn't even good enough. Like, but I thought it was from the outside, but it really even wasn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, B. Exactly. So I think like in those moments, really throwing is really having to just, it's like, I guess like swimming for the first time, but it's like just throw them in the pool, you know?
Yeah.
And you'll find yourself as you get older and evolve, a lot of times you have to throw yourself in the pool again. And I think that's the other part that's shocking to people because it's like, I'm so used to being this way or doing this thing or grabbing a hold.
Right.
And then you get to a certain point to where it's like, I don't have that same energy anymore, that same go get it attitude, or that same whatever. So then it's like, well, what do I do now? And then you start becoming complacent, you know. It's like at the time, and that all that can become depressing because then you realize it's been 5-6 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, like, okay, like, what are you doing? And it's like, holding myself back. So,
Right. No, and don't do it.
yeah. And some things too, it's like I say, it all goes hand in hand. Some things they're meant to be held back because at the time, if you would have done it or gotten the opportunity or whatever, you might have gotten the opportunity, but you probably would have been pushed back way more because you weren't ready for it.
Right.
And then you fucked it up, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, fuck, now no one ever wants to work with me again, or, you know, whatever like that. So you have to look at it, and then the forgiveness. That's the hardest part. Forgiving yourself. Like, you have to look at those things, those missed opportunities, those missed whatever, or if you wasn't so up to, like, I cringe at certain things that I think about, like this audition I had when I was like, I think I was like 19 or 20. I think I was auditioning for Sierra in Miami. I think that's what it was. Yeah. And I remember I was doing something, and it was like the freestyle portion at the end. So, you know, I was going all out. Oh my goodness. So I was exhausted. So I tried to do like a headstand, and I was in it, and then I fell out of it. And when I fell out of it, I like fell into someone.
Oh no.
Knock them over.
Oh,
so
no.
then we're still trying to freestyle. Like, so we're like entangled all into each other, and we're all trying to dance and still like give life and stuff like that. And it, to me, when I think about it, that shit look crazy as hell. Like when I think, so I have moments when I think about it, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Because you cringe, because you think about it, it's like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? So some moments like that we hold on to for a long time, and that creates an anxiety.
Yeah.
It creates an anxiety over time, and it's like, oh shit, it's like, damn, remember that last time you fucked up? So then it starts being, well, don't give your all, just give a little bit, be controlled. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's little mental things start popping up in your head, and then they build up. And then after time, you realize I'm not the same person. It's like, well, the person you used to be, you should just go out there and fuck it up and not give a damn.
Right.
But there's one opportunity which you have yet to subconsciously forgive yourself for. You know what I'm saying?
And then you don't even know that you're not doing that.
Yeah, you don't even know. It's just like, why? And now it's like, when I think about it, I laugh. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what were you doing? You look ridiculous trying to stand on your head, and then you fall, you rolled into somebody, y'all got entangled into each other, y'all both were still trying to dance and get phased.
Sierra's video. God, she's amazing.
I wanted that gig so bad. But anyway, so yeah, so when you have those moments and then those moments that will really knock a person down, it will knock down their self-worth, their self-esteem because of that one moment. It's like, damn, I fucked up an audition, I look crazy.
Dancing's hard.
It is, yeah. So, and a lot of people don't have that get back, like, well, oh, whatever fucked up, oh well, missed opportunity. You know, some people are really devastated and they hold on to it.
It's very emotional.
Yeah, it becomes emotional. You hold on to it, and then that starts to create the anxiety and the depression.
I think a lot of dancers have this. Like, we're always comparing ourselves to each other. We're always like...
And that's the self-worth and self-esteem. Yes. And then from there, that's when the depression begins. Because, like I said, you don't feel worthy enough. You don't feel the self-esteem. Oh, she didn't pick me. They picked the other girl. I killed the audition, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then you go home, you internalize it. Well, what's wrong with me?
Right.
Nothing. She's taller than you by an inch.
She's taller than you. That's it.
She's taller than you by an inch. Or her shoe size. She fits the shoes we already got. She wears a 6 and you wear a 9.
Yes.
You actually dance better than her, but they not paying no more money for no more shoes. So they pick the girl with the 7.
This is real life.
It really is. So it's like there's some things you can't internalize what you do. And that minuscule decision by a director or producer or choreographer that had nothing to do with you, purely the fact that we were going with blondes but we're changing the redheads, you know what I'm saying, and that's purely all it is. But you take that one moment and you imply it to your whole existence, and then now boom, there's your self-worth, your self-esteem. Now you don't feel worthy. You don't feel like you're I should even be here. I need to move back home. I'm not good enough. And it's like, no, girl, you should have just wore your red wig today. Like, and it really,
it's not personal.
It's not personal. A lot of time, I've been in audition scenarios and situations where I'm like, I want my people. There's nothing I can do about it because they don't fit the description of what's needed, even though they're bomb. It's like, sorry, she's too fucking tall. The artist is 5'1". Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you and you know, and I've even had things, and sometimes people will make it work. They're like, we want her that bad, we're gonna make it work. But you can't internalize it though. And even if it's something that you didn't fit, maybe you weren't that good, or just that's their prerogative. They don't. You're just not what they're looking for. Right. But it has nothing to do with you personally. At all.
And it's so hard to understand that, especially when you are passionate about dancing, because you feel rejected.
You feel rejected, yeah. And it's hard to not, I guess, you know, and we can't take our dance auditions and stuff like that. It's not like being picked last at the volleyball game. I mean, at the dodgeball game or baseball game or kickball or something. It's not like that. You weren't picked last, girl. You just weren't picked because you just don't fit the role or the bill or whatever.
Or the bill.
And it's like, I just seen a billion dancers and all y'all are the same level of excellence or whatever. But it could simply just be this. I've been here all day and I was half asleep and then I finally just woke up and I like you. Everyone else I saw, I really wasn't paying attention to because I was half asleep.
That's real.
And now I'm finally waking up. I got some coffee in me. It's the end of the day now. And now I'm like, who is that? And you missed a billion dope ass talent for the whole day. But once again, everybody else that got cut, they're going to internalize it and think that it has something to do with them. When really, the director was just sleepy. He wasn't paying attention to nobody. He just woke up and now he just saw her and he was like, she's amazing. And everybody's like, what about everybody else? And get this, this girl could not be that amazing.
Right.
She just happened to be amazing at the moment when they were ready to receive it.
And the right place.
At the right time, at the right place.
And ready.
And I'll say I've gotten some gigs where I just happened to be at the right time.
Yes.
Or not even. I was in the wrong time in the wrong place. And I was just like, I'm not even supposed to be here, but okay.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's the saying. Some things are just not, and even with stuff like that, they could have a whole perspective in their head about what they want when it comes to dance audition or anything, period. All it takes is one person to walk in the room to change the whole perspective. That person could either be you or could not be you. So it's like, damn, we thought we wanted this type of dancer, but now I think we want all girls that do breakdancing. Because we just saw this one girl and not a creative director just had a mind fucking blast. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. We're doing something completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. He
What
got
about all these
fired.
dancers? What about all these dancers that we brought here? Well, let's just go through the audition and see what we see. But we know we're going to pick this type of dancer.
Wow. Yeah. They set the tone.
Yeah, or you just only came to the audition because we just need marketing and promotion. We already know who we're booking. It's the assistant and the
I
choreographer.
always feel that way.
We're picking, but we're picking 2 people, and it ain't gonna be none of y'all because we already got them.
Yeah, I felt that way about Janet Jackson's most recent audition. But I'm glad I went because I made some friends and it was
But
cool.
see, that's the thing too. You have to also think about the purpose of going to audition. Yes, you go to book, but add other positive perspectives to it. I'm going to take free class.
Yes.
I'm going to put myself in an audition perspective
Yes.
so I can train. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to pull out the positives. Okay, I didn't get picked.
Yes.
But I was able to pick up this choreography, or I was seen, or, it's so many things, because I've gotten calls where I was not the pick for that specific thing, but they saw something else that works great for me that had nothing to do with even the project. So instead of me having a mindset, I've been to auditions where they just straight up told me, you're not going to make it because you're too good. And that's for Dancing in Heels. It was this one artist I was auditioning for, and when I walked in, I gave them my business card and all this other stuff, and they seen me, and I did the hip-hop audition in the heels.
Cool.
So they already knew.
That's the boss move.
They already knew. No, I used to do that all the time. I used to always go to the auditions in heels, like the regular auditions, and I don't go in heels. I'll go to the girls' auditions and crash. But they told me, they was like, well, you can still audition if you want to, but they was like, no, they was like, the artist is just okay in heels. We're not looking for, we want guys in heels, but we're not looking for like bomb, like, you know what I'm saying? That's not what they're looking for. They just wanted the visual perspective of having guys in heels. They weren't looking for like super bomb ass dancers.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy industry.
It's a crazy industry. And you know what's interesting? They told me this before I even auditioned. I decided to stay. It was my choice because I said, well, y'all say I don't need to audition, but I still want y'all to see me. Y'all gonna remember me after this day. I'm not just gonna walk out of here and all y'all have to go by is my business card and my resume and without seeing me dance. No, because there's a possibility you might have something else for me.
Yes.
So I didn't take it as that's what I was like. As soon as I walked in, I already knew I was destined to fail. As soon y'all told me you're not gonna push through, boo. So you can go home if you want to and not waste your time. But I decided it's not a waste of time.
Yeah. That's like the best, that's a good sport, the
and
best thing you could do.
But it was for me, and see, that's the thing about the self-confidence and self-worth. I went to that audition purely to show out, to show my ass, whether I booked the job or not. Yeah, that was a lot of auditions. Honestly, I went to show that was it. I just wanted to show my ass. I didn't give a damn if I booked the job or not. If I did, great. If I didn't, whatever. But y'all finna get a motherfucking show. That is for sure. Because that was me. I'm a performer. I'm an entertainer. Yes, this is an audition, but I'm finna perform my ass down at this audition. Y'all might not book me, but you will never forget me. Yeah. You'll never, ever, ever, ever forget me.
I'll never forget you.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Going into things like this with a mindset and a goal, but those are things you have to start with before you go into these scenarios, especially in the industry. People are ready to go in the industry, but they're not thinking about, like, the shit y'all see in the movies is real. This is where you think they get it from. Like, it's not just, and if somebody's thinking it, someone's been doing it for years. That's what I would say. If you just thought it, a bitch been doing it, they done patented it, it's somewhere already in progress, it's being done. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Not everything, but for the most part. It's too many people, too many perspectives, collective mindsets, even though we might be on billions of miles away from the next person. But, all of us get in tune with some of the same things. Yeah. But I feel just overall coming into LA, for instance, a lot of dancers come here. They come here with a goal, but they don't come here with a roadmap. How are you going to get there? Okay, what if this speed bump comes up? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? How are you going to maneuver?
You can never guess.
You can never guess. You can never guess what's going to happen. So you have to have a mindset that there's going to be sharks and snakes and
don't believe everybody.
Sticks and stones and all types of shit. All types of people, scenarios, perspectives. You have to just know that I might not see all these boulders and all these roadblocks, but I have to be aware that at some point down the road, I might run into it. Yeah. How are you going to make a decision? What's going to happen at that time? What's going to be? And we're so caught on just trying to make it
Right.
But, you know, we look at people and it's like, we don't know what it took for them to make it.
Right.
Some people
I
is
always
literally,
wonder
yeah.
that.
And some people it's like, I literally just landed here and then I was famous. And other people, bitch, I've been here for 20 years. I'm just now making it. Like, you know, it's so many stories. So that's what I'm saying. When it comes to self-worth and self-esteem and like depression and anxiety and all the other things that come with it emotionally, some of the things you can't avoid because we're human. It's natural. And I think it's not about what you go through. It's about the steps we're taking to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because some things you can't avoid. You can't, like I said, I've been in a few auditions where I came in there and bitch, and I'm like, there's no way in hell I didn't book this gig, and y'all gave me the thank you. Like, I hate they walk up to you, thank you. It's like, okay, thanks for what? It's like, you can leave now. It's like, oh. Do you make that type of thank you? Like, thank you, bye.
It does not feel good.
It doesn't feel good all the time, you know? And it's just like, fuck. Especially when it's something that you really, 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 really want.
Yeah.
But, you know, being able to go home. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't cry, don't pout. Do everything it takes for you, your process. Whatever it is, your process, you got to go home and put on some like thrasher music.
Oh, yeah.
Like whatever you got to do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Or you got to go, I don't know, just go home and get in the bathtub with a glass of wine and a blunt and just cry for an hour. Do it. Get through it. There's no shame in that. However it takes for you to heal or get through a situation, do that. But just know that this is not something that's just going to last forever. You know what I'm saying? What meant for you is meant for you.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
If it's meant for you, you're going to have it no matter what. Like, something could try to get in your way and it can't if it's yours.
It can't get in your way. And sometimes it's getting in your way because it's not time yet.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, some things get in your way. It's just not time. It's like, yeah, you're ready, but the timing isn't right. The world isn't ready. So just because you're ready to, you know, do this big thing or whatever, the world isn't ready to receive it yet. Or the energy isn't, you know, in sync with what you're trying to do because it is that big or important. So, yeah, just being able to say, you know, just, I don't know, just really believe truly, even when you don't believe it, just continue to believe.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it.
Really, because the fact is, when other people don't, it's all about perception at the end of the day. That's especially LA. LA is about perception. So that's what I'm saying. If even the most confident people, trust me, at some point in time, they're going to have a moment where they break down and cry. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or something. Like, no one's just super, I've had them. I haven't had them often, but I have had them. Like, I remember around the time when I first moved to LA, I don't know what I was going through. It was something with like, a job. I don't even get into that, but they was not trying to pay me my money.
Oh, no.
But I went from being pissed to being like in my kitchen, like rolled up in a ball, crying on the floor.
Oh,
and then I got mad at myself for crying when I got done. I was like, what the fuck are you crying? I cussed myself out. No, I be cussing myself out sometimes. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what are you doing? Like, girl, dry them damn tears. What are you crying for? Yeah, tell me you're working, girl, bitch. I'm a producer over here, a whole producer. I got a whole set going on.
I got a set at my house.
Okay,
I've been wanting one of these. I have a paper over there on the fridge that's like, if I had no limits, I would. And one of the things is have some fancy lights, have a set at my house, have a mirror to choreograph.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been crossing those off.
Some people have it. They don't question nothing they do, even when it's wrong.
Right. I know. And you know what? I try to surround myself with people like that because I really admire that. You know, I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, I want to just like be cocky, but I'm like, okay, well, I want to be here, grounded.
Yeah, you want to be grounded, but be
let's
say that's being cocky and confident are two different things.
Yes,
This is like different about being confident in just everything that you do, the way that you move, and even being confident, even when you have self-doubt. It's like, well, I don't know, but I still trust myself in my decisions, even though I'm feeling kind of like funny about it, but I'm going to still go with my gut decision because I trust in my gut decision, even though my mind is fucking with me right now, but my gut decision, my instincts is saying to do this. Because your instincts, there's certain things, your instincts, they're just not going to lie to you.
Yeah. No,
and sometimes you want them to.
That's your gift.
Yeah, you want them to because you don't want to believe or you don't want to whatever. And it's like, okay. And it's like, then after it's like, I knew it. I felt that. I knew that was happening, or I knew I
Right.
should have did this or whatever. So it's just, and I say that what I said as far as like when you just something as simple as that, you'll surprise yourself when you do it. Because the thing that surprises yourself the most is because, like, when say situations like when you see something's about to fall, it always becomes the factor of whether it broke or fall or not. So
Right.
then you think about, like, see, when the action, let's say if it breaks, you're thinking like, fuck, I knew I could have caught it. But it's funny how at that moment you know that you could have caught it.
Right. Yes.
Just learning, and that's to me forming a relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. Being a best friend with yourself, knowing that yourself is not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
That's
You're
the
being best
hardest.
friend.
That's kind of the hardest thing to, I think, to build overall.
Yeah.
It's just, really becoming best friends with yourself and trusting your inner voice.
Yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
since the internet didn't really have a great definition, I think
Okay.
we have enough wisdom in
Okay.
this room right now to make up our own definition
Yes.
of what self-worth is.
Okay.
And I would like to give the floor to you first.
Okay. So I think my definition of self-worth would be, like, I guess what I was just explaining is just having the pretty much overall undoubted perspective that anything that you do in any way that you move is the right move in the right way. That knowing that you're worthy of the moves that you want to make, knowing that you're worthy of having the things that come in front of your face. You might be in disbelief. It's like winning the lottery. Like, who
Right.
wins the lottery and be like, oh, no.
Right.
This isn't for me. No.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, hell yeah, give me this money. And I don't want it in 8 years. I want it now.
Now. Yeah.
So that's how it is. So when you think of those things, it's like, try to think of life just overall as that. When things come to you, knowing that those things were meant for you and being okay with it, being okay with knowing that you're deserving of something, knowing that, having that perspective, you've put in enough work, or that you're just being blessed. And that's
Right.
the thing too. Sometimes we're being blessed, and we're like, once again, we're so focused on other things that we don't realize what the blessings are, because we're focused on this. We think, oh, it's supposed to come this way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, that's not. It's just supposed to come. Like, you know what I'm saying? If it's supposed to rain, I don't care how it's going to rain. If it's going to be a hard rain, a soft rain, I just know we need water on these plants. Like, you know what I'm saying? On this grass.
Right.
So I just like overall self-worth is just that confidence in knowing yourself, your decisions, knowing that the universe has a plan for you, and just knowing that you overall as a person is worthy. That's what self is.
Yeah.
Self and worth. Literally, that's what it is. Who's worthy of it? Yourself.
Yourself is worth.
Yourself is worthy.
I agree.
Yeah, so
That's-
that would be my definition of self-worth.
That's so pretty much the same thing as
Yeah.
my definition I've gathered from this. It is basically just knowing that you're worth it. You're worth it.
Everybody that's on this planet is worth it. We
You're
wouldn't be here.
perfect.
Yeah, you're perfect
Yes.
and you're worth
Yes.
it. You're worth it and you're perfect. So
That is so right. Amen. One thing that I really like to do is get like Post-its, especially if I'm in like a more low place and I'm having a hard time believing like my dreams, like where I want to go and what steps I need to take. I'll get Post-its and I'll put them on my mirror and I'll be like, you are enough. You are worthy. And I feel like that's just a really good tool that I've learned to use. So that's
I agree.
my advice to you guys as one step you can take to like
Great stuff.
new beliefs about your worth.
You get to see it. Some things you have to see it. You have to see it, and then because the thing, when you see something, then what do? You read it in your head. It goes, and you hear it.
Yes.
You hear yourself inside your head say it.
And it's an affirmation.
Yeah, and then it becomes an affirmation. Yeah, and
How
it works
cool.
even better if you say it.
That's so
Because
cool.
then you're actually really manifesting it even more by putting it out there. You're letting the universe hear it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm worthy. But just reading it, it just continues to put that in your head.
Yeah.
So
It works.
and it does. I don't do stuff like that because my mom's like, you should do that, but it does though work. I just don't do it. I don't write stuff down and put it on Post-its. No, because it's like me. I guess the way my mind works and it's different. Everybody's mind's different. So like seeing stuff like that, it won't like resonate as well. I don't know, it's just different for me seeing it that way. Like I'm a vocal person,
right?
So I hear it. I'll hear it in my head.
Me
versus
too. I have to hear it.
Yeah, when I hear it, then I'll hear the voice. Like I hear my mom's voice saying stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Or my grandma, or my uncle, or my friends. I'll hear that in my head, or I'll replay scenarios where I like conversations. Like if we have a conversation, you tell me something, like I'll do that more so. So you know, everybody has their different methods, but the fact is, the narrative is still in my head though.
Right.
It's still rotating, whether I'm reading it every day, or I'm just hearing it, or even if somebody like people listen to those tapes in the morning.
I do.
Yeah, the motivational speakers and stuff like that. Even
I'm making some for them.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Even same. It's the same thing. All it is just getting it in there. Getting in there and just letting it be there every single day. But for a lot of people, visual learning is the best way to be.
Yes.
So having it written down somewhere, I say it's a great way.
That helps me so much too.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Apollo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You are so amazing.
Oh,
and
thank you. You're amazing to me.
Literally.
She's amazing. I have no idea.
Being able to be in your class and see your artistry has been such an inspiration in my life.
Oh, thank you.
So I want everyone to be able to find you. Please tell us where they can find you, your website, your social handles, and anything else you want us to know about you.
All right. So you can find me at www.officialghettostiletto.com. That's the website. And
we're going to put it right here.
Yes. And you can also find me at Instagram. It's Apollo Sadiq. And you have Official Ghetto Stiletto and Official Ghetto Stiletto Girls. Bryan, Ghetto Stiletto Girl. So those are 3 pages. You can find me on Facebook as well, Apollo Sadiq, and how you spell that is APOLLOSAD''DEEK. So pretty much, if you look up Apollo Sadiq or Ghetto Stiletto, you'll
Spelled
find
like
me.
This.
Yep. It's gonna be over here somewhere. Ding, you see it?
Apollo Sadiq.
Ding. Nice. So yes, but so anywhere you can just follow me on there, DM me. If you have any questions, I'm open to just talk, conversations, etc., whatever. Yeah, just hit me up if you feel free. If you're able to, if you're ever in Los Angeles, come take class when we're able to take class. But I'll be doing online classes some more as well, so be on the lookout for that. What was that?
The neighbor.
Oh, okay. I was like, that sounded like it was inside the house.
Margo, stop barking.
I know. Margo,
we're filming our
Margo.
podcast. This is Hollywood.
Yes. So yeah, you guys, that's where you can find me. So yeah, just add me. And Bryan, thank you so much for having me. This was an amazing time. And two, I enjoy this because I don't have a lot of moments to where I really get to talk, in like this type of form, and talk about like the beginnings of Ghetto Stiletto and just my personal perspectives. I don't really talk about it that well really ever really. So this is actually great for me because people don't know this. I have a camera problem. I'm actually camera shy when it comes to speaking on camera. So
I'm so camera shy.
Yeah. So, but doing it with you, this is like really helped me push past the nervous level. Like I feel so comfortable and confident, and I'm so happy Bryan is doing this because she's so amazing. She has a lot of great things that she's doing. She has a lot of great things to share, and you really inspire. You're so inspiring, and she really wants to just help people. And that's the thing I love about Bryan. She's always been, very inspirational, wants to help people, like dance how you want to. That's what it's always been about. To me, even your brand has been about self-worth and self-esteem, which you brought. That's what, the slogan, literally.
And it's all hard learned. Like I struggled with that stuff, and like dance how I want to, that started because I went to Southern Baptist school. And I was always getting in trouble for the way that I danced. So I was like captain of many of the cheer teams that I was on. And we would dance and I would choreograph the dance. And then like the principals and stuff would pull the whole cheer team in and tell us that it was inappropriate. Some teachers told us we looked like strippers. And that just always stuck with me. And I was like, no, this is wrong. Y'all can't tell us this. I mean, and it wasn't that slutty, okay? Like, maybe we were pushing some boundaries, but
y'all wasn't out there. Y'all wasn't out there doing the WAP.
We might have had a WAP.
I know, but y'all wasn't doing the WAP.
We weren't that cool yet.
Not that cool. Not that yet.
But yeah, that's how Dance How I Want To started. But I love you.
Oh, love you
Thank
too,
you
B.
so
Thank
much for
you.
being here.
Yes.
Thank you for giving us all of that insight on self-worth. Like, I really learned so much from you. Like, you're an expert on self-worth.
Am I?
High five. Yes. I picked the perfect show for you. So good. Thank you
Wow.
again.
Well, that's awesome. Yay.
Well, y'all know where to find
Yes.
Apollo.
Y'all know where to find me.
Check him out. I'll have all the links below if you didn't catch him in the video. And stay tuned for the Dance How I Want To Lucky 13 Steps to Building Your Self-Worth. Thank you, Apollo.
I'm a dance how I want to. I'm a dance how I want to.
Hello, friends, and we're back. Welcome to the Dance How I Want To Lucky 13 Steps to Building Your Self-Worth. Start with the first 3. Definitely do those this week. And you can pick from the other 10. It's a lot of steps. I've done all of them. It just takes a lot of time to get through them. So pick and choose which ones you want, and definitely take the top 3. So here we go. Step number 1 is challenge your inner critic. We all have it. She's a bitch. Challenge her. She's that little voice that creeps in and tells you that you're an imposter, that tells you that you can never do the things that you want to do, that tells you that you can't have that. Every time you hear that voice come up that's like stopping you from doing the things that you want to do, ask her why, right? Like, confront her. So like, allow yourself to play. Allow your inner child to outperform that inner critic, because the two can't play together and they don't like each other. So you've got to challenge that inner critic, right? Step number 2, talk to yourself the way that you would talk to a friend. So back to that inner critic, this step 2 is very intertwined with step number 1. The way that that inner critic talks to you is definitely not the way that you would talk to your best friend, right? Like, it is a mean voice. So really try to change it. Really talk to yourself. When you hear yourself saying like, oh, you should have done this and you can't do that and da-da-da, change it. Make it nice. You have to be nice to yourself, or else nothing's ever going to be good enough, right? If you're like me, and I know so many people are, and I think honestly everyone in the world is, like, feeling like you're not enough at certain times, it's that voice. So you have to be nice to yourself. So talk to yourself like a friend. That's step number 2. Step number 3, it's meditate. You know, I am a huge advocate for meditation. It really works. It has totally changed my life. So if you're really focusing on your self-worth, when you meditate, visualize yourself with all of the things that you desire. Visualize yourself being happy with the things that you have. See yourself doing the things that you want to do. Imagine yourself with the things that you desire. Imagine yourself being free of your inner critic, being worth everything you've ever dreamed of, being worth more than you've ever dreamed of, because you can. So meditate is definitely in the top 3. Can't tell you to do it enough. Make sure you're carving out 5 to 15 minutes a day minimum to like just let your mind wander. You can be laying down, you can be sitting up, you can do a walking meditation. Just like take your mind there and let it just play. Step number 4, surround yourself with people who lift you up. If you're around people that are making you feel bad, that is not going to help you when you're trying to feel better. So surround yourself with people that make you feel good. And if you have people in your family that knock you down, just try to be nice to them, but you don't have to hang out with them. Like, love them, of course. Be there for them if they need you, but like, you don't have to be around them all the time. And if you know they make you feel bad about yourself, don't be around them. Step number 5, make a weekly list of your goals. This includes things for your career. This includes goals for your spiritual routine, your self-care routine, and throw in a few things that make you feel expensive, that don't have to be expensive. That's something that makes you feel expensive, like buying yourself flowers. Which brings me to step number 6, buy yourself flowers. Whatever your favorite flowers, your favorite color, Buy yourself the flowers. You deserve it, and it will make you feel so worthy. Like, I love having fresh flowers around. It just lifts my spirits so much, and it does make me feel so much like more worthy of my desires. Step number 7, allow yourself to be creative and create something that you've been thinking about but you haven't let yourself do yet. Like maybe it's choreograph a dance, or maybe it's paint a picture, or sew an outfit. Let yourself do that. Give yourself the time, carve out the time, because you are totally worth it. And you never know like what your next project could lead to. It could lead to the next thought for your next like big business, or it could lead to, you know, just the thought of you feeling a little more worthy. So let yourself create. Step number 8, dance. Dance how you want to. Dance out however you're feeling. However you feel, give yourself 10 minutes, press play. And if you're feeling angry, do an angry dance. If you're feeling sad, do a sad dance. Like, if you're happy, do your happy dance. Like, let yourself dance. Carve out the time. Give yourself 10 minutes. Just do it, right? It really will change. If you're feeling like crap and then you let yourself dance, your life is going to be so much better. Step number 9, make a vision board. This really helps you to just visualize, think about the things in meditation, get this vision board. I personally like to go on canva.com and make like a poster, and then I like to print it out so that I always have it in front of me. And it's got things on it like a house that I want to buy, the furniture that I want to have, it's got my business on it. It's got costumes that I want to make on it. It's got all sorts of things. So making a vision board is going to help you integrate all those like floating thoughts and turn them into a reality. So if you've got, you know, let's say you're meditating and you can't think of something to think about. Well, if you have a vision board that's on your refrigerator that you look at every day, your mind is going to remember what's on that vision board because you have to look at it at some point every day. I also like to put my vision board on my phone so that I have to look at it all the time. So now when I go into meditation and I'm trying to think about the life I want to live, like my visuals are strong. They are ingrained in my brain because of my vision board. And that does make me feel more worthy. Step number 10, make a list of the things that you think you can't have. Yep. And then next to it, write 3 reasons why you deserve it. All right. Step number 11. This step is tied to step number 10 as well. It is take 1 step to get one of the things on that list of things that you think you can't have. Step number 12 is journal your thoughts for 10 minutes each morning. This is a mind dump and it freaking works. I have just started doing The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. It's a book, but one of the things is doing these morning pages. They're like, you take 3 pages in the morning and you just write. And you're never going to read it again. You're not allowed to read it again. It lets you get all the crap out so that you can create a better life and you have a clear mind. Lucky step number 13 is your posture. Your posture really sends your subconscious messages. So if you're not feeling worthy of something that you want, notice your posture. Notice like, oh, I can never have that. And then fix it. Like, I totally deserve that. Like, it makes a huge difference. So fix your posture. And that's the Lucky 13 Dance How I Want To steps to building your self-worth. Thank you everyone for joining our podcast today. Huge shout out to Apollo Sadiq and Ghetto Stiletto for being our guest today. That was an amazing experience. Thank you so much, Apollo. God, I just learned so much from him every time. If seriously, like if you can find a dance teacher that cares about you and really is interested in your growth, that is going to be a huge step in building your self-worth. It totally worked for me, completely changed my life. Keep growing, keep learning. This podcast was brought to you by Dance How I Want To bachelorette parties in Los Angeles and the Savannah areas, and by Ghetto Stiletto.
I'ma dance how I want to. I'ma dance how I want to. I don't really give a, I'ma dance how I want to. I'ma dance how I want to.